Oh. Okay guys, so we're back working on the 1988 Toyota first gen 4runner. Today I think the plan is I'm going to do the radiator flush and the cooling system flush, replace the heater tap and put some fresh Penrite red coolant in it, because this has been running on water, just straight water, ever since I got it. So I was originally planning on waiting until I had all the hoses so I could replace all the hoses at the same time, but I'm finding it hard to get the heater hoses. I have got the radiator hoses, so I've decided I'm just going to do the flush, replace the heater tap because I think that's not working and it might be all clogged and blocked up. But I'm going to keep the new radiator hoses as spares. These hoses aren't leaking at the moment, so as long as they stay that way, I'm just going to keep what's in there now. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And I'll keep my new radiator hoses, spares box in the back of the car, so if I ever do bust a radiator hose out on the highway or out bush, I've got spare radiator hoses. So let's get stuck into that today. I'll show you what I've got and to do this task, and then we'll get into it. Okay, so the things I've got to do this coolant flush is I've got some Penrite radiator flush. I've never used this before, but I'll give it a go. And like I've said in the previous video, I only use Penrite products for oils and fluids and things like that, because they are great products and they are Australian owned and Australian made. So I'm going to put some of this radiator flush through the system. Then I've got some distilled water here. Once this has worked its way through its system, I'll flush out all the water and the radiator flush and whatever else comes out. Then I'll top it back up with distilled water or demineralized water, run it through the system again, flush that out, and then once that's flushed out, depending on how it's coming out, I'm hoping by then we can top it up with the Penrite red coolant. It might need 3, 4, 5 flushes with demineralized water before it's clean enough to put the coolant in. And if that's the case, that's what we'll do. I've also got a coolant funnel set. This is an old Repco one I've had sitting around in the shed for ages. I think they also call these no-spill funnels, but they just have all the different fittings there to fit different types of radiators, different size radiator caps and all that sort of stuff. So it fits on your radiator, clamps down to create a seal, so you can fill the funnel right up and burp the system, basically get all the air bubbles out of the system without it leaking out of the radiator. Okay, so I've also got the heater tap itself, brand spanking new heater tap, came all the way from Japan, and I've got just some inox, but you could use CRC WD-40, and the plan with that is the wire that controls the heater tap or opens and closes the heater tap when you move the dial or the knob on your heater control panel, that runs inside a plastic sleeve, and that can bind up with gunk and all that sort of stuff and make it hard to open and close the heater tap. So I'm just going to squirt some inox down that sleeve and try and lubricate the inside of the sleeve and the wire, and just make that move inside the sleeve a lot more easily. All right, so let's get started. So step one, we're just going to pour this bottle of Penrite radiator flush into the radiator, start the car with the heater on, and let it run for 15 minutes. Okay, now this says drain the cooling system first, shake radiator flush well before use, refill the radiator with clean water while adding this. Now, as much as you should follow the directions on the bottle, I don't have enough distilled water or demineralized water to do multiple flushes, and I don't really want to do it with the tap water because the tap water here is crap and full of minerals. So I am going to drain a little bit of the water out, just a tiny bit, probably about this much, about 500 ml, and I'm going to pour this just into the system and just let it run for 15 minutes. Not what it says to do on the directions, so if my results aren't as good as they should be, it's probably because I didn't follow the directions properly. But that is what I'm doing. Alright, so I've got my catch can there, and I'm just going to crack the drain plug. I should be able to do it by hand. Just loosen it. Be gentle with that, especially, I mean, they're 35 years old. And it's plastic, so I should just be able to turn that. I don't know how far I have to turn it. And it should start flowing water out of the radiator. You will need the radiator cap off to do this. Nothing yet. Oh, there we go. There we go. So like I said, I'm just going to drain about 500 ml out, just to make sure I've got enough room in the system to pour that full bottle of flush in there. It says to shake it up first, so we'll do that. Push down and turn so the little kitties can't get in there. Right, there we go. One full bottle of Penrite Radiator Flush. Put this cap back on. Start the car. Okay, now we just wait 15 minutes for that to work through the system. I've got the heater as open as I can. Hopefully it is actually opening the heater tap. I'm not sure that it is. And yeah, we'll just let that to run for 15 minutes. Hey Siri, set a timer for 15 minutes. I'll come back to you in 15. Okay, so the car's been running for 15 minutes now. I'm going to turn it off and we'll drain the water and the coolant flush out and see what we've got. Now, I had that heater on full blast and wide open, so maximum heat, and it wasn't very hot in there at all. So something in the heater side of things is not working, and it could be the heater core, could be something inside. I'm not really familiar with that stuff in there. I'd have to read up on it. I'm hoping it's just the heater tap. You can see, because it's very hard to manually open that, and you can see all the gunk around it. I'm hoping it's just a faulty or blocked up heater tap. Hence why we are replacing that, but I'll drain this out. Be mindful, this water's going to be scalding hot, so I'm going to drain it out and see what we've got. It's not a very big drain hole at the bottom, it's actually quite small, so if there's chunks coming out, you're probably better off dropping the bottom radiator hose and giving it a proper flush. This is more so just draining liquid if your system's fairly clean. So I need to have the cap off to be able to drain the system from the bottom. Right, so I'm going to let the car cool down for probably half an hour, and then I can take the cap off, drain the system. Then I think what I might do, just because I'm not convinced that it's going through the heater tap and into the heater core and all that sort of stuff, I'm going to replace the heater tap with a new one, and then I'll fill it up with the demineralized water, run that through the system. Hopefully then it's actually going all the way through. Hopefully that'll flush all that out, and then we can top it up with the proper coolant. So I'll come back to you in about half an hour. For you it'll be instantaneous, and we'll get stuck into it. All right, so the car's been cooling down for about an hour. Get this cap off, still being careful. Still be a little bit of, could be a bit of pressure and heat in the system, but no, it's pretty good. All right, let's get this draining. It's definitely discoloured a bit more than it was, so I think the flush fluid, the Penrite flush stuff, has definitely done a little bit of cleaning. So I'll just let that drain. Then I'm going to remove the heater tap. So while that radiator is draining, I'm just going to take off the overflow bottle and just give that a wash out and tip out the dirty water that's in there. So I don't want any of that going back through the system. Right, I'm going to start the car and run it with the radiator cap off, just to let it go through the system and the level will drop down, and then I'll top it back up. Put the cap on, let it run for another 15 minutes. So once the car gets up to temp and the thermostat opens up to let water go through the engine and cool it down, that water level should drop, and then I'll top it up. So I just had it running without the radiator cap on, and the amount of sludge that was spewing up out of the top of the radiator, you can see some here. I'll bring you in closer. See that stuff there? So I don't think this little flush is going to cut it. I am going to drop the bottom radiator hose, and I am going to put some pressure, some water pressure through the top of the radiator and just blow that radiator out, because that's just too sludgy to be putting nice new red coolant in. So I'll give it a bit of a flush. Alright, I am going to not worry about draining out that little drain plug. I'm just going to drop the bottom radiator hose, drain it straight out of there, run some water through it, try and flush out as much of this crap as I can, and while I'm at it, I'll change the heater tap. Yeah, that's pretty filthy. Alright, let's see if we can get the hose on there and flush some of this stuff out. Alright, it's coming out much cleaner now. But ideally this radiator would come out and would get some pressure onto it and give it a proper flush, but this is going to have to do for now. The goal down the track obviously is to rip this 4YE out, put a new engine in, new radiator, new everything when the engine conversion does come around. But in the meantime, this engine runs well and I want to keep it running well, but I don't want to spend too much on it. So we're just going to basically do the bare minimum maintenance to keep it going until we can rip it out and repower this beast. Alright, let that drain out. So just while that's fully draining, I'll change that heater tap. Looks like it could be 10 or 12 mil bolts. Actually, I might do the hoses first. Just going to gently try and work that off. Yeah, definitely a lot of corrosion in there. Probably from running straight water forever and a day. Try and clean that out without damaging this hose because I don't have a replacement. I'm hoping you can get just generic heater hose somewhere and just sort of route it wherever you need to, but look at that, that's rust. Oh, this one's going to be difficult. Off altogether. I do have replacement hose clamps. Again, try and do this gently without splitting this hose. Very difficult. Oh.
I hurt myself today.
Almost stabbed myself in the hand. It's coming. Just got to gently work it. Oh. So much corrosion. Oh wow. Alright, let's get this off. Put these two bolts somewhere safe where I won't lose them. Now it should just be the cable. How is that connected? Just a clip, and then how does that clip work? And then it just slips over that by the looks. Alright. Try and give you a close look at this. Look at the corrosion on that, it's eaten all the way through it. I think that heater tap is well and truly buggered. Let's get the new one. Alrighty, one brand new heater tap from Japan.
Overnight parts from Japan.
Now just before we start, try and get some of this inox down this cable. Lubricate the sleeve. Alright. I'm not convinced that this cable is working. No, it is working. Doesn't seem to open or shut much, but it's working, and it actually felt quite smooth and free on that last time I used the knob to turn the heater off. So hopefully this will do what I want it to do, free that up. So we'll let that go for a bit, let that soak and make its way down the cable. Try and put that somewhere where it can stay vertical. Alright. See what we got here. Oh, beautiful. It does have a clip already on it. That's great. That is, oh my god. That other one, I couldn't move it. Like physically pulling on all these bits and pieces, could not move it. This just moves so easily. This is going to be great. Alright. I am going to leave it for a bit though, because I do want that to get soaking and do its job. So, and I'll probably connect the cable first and then bolt it up, just so sorry, how does that go? Must go like, no, should go like that. Does it go like that? Oh no. Where's my other one? Oh dear, these are not the same. Wow. How can they not be the same? This is for a 4runner with a 4YE engine, which is what I've got here, and it's not the same. So disappointing. So disappointing.
Disappointed!
Oh well, gonna have to get on the internet and order this part. And in the meantime, I will try my hardest to find a way to replace these hoses, because I do not like the way they look and feel. That's what I get for not checking the part. I just figured I had the right one because I ordered the part for this car. But anyway, nothing I can do about it now except order a new part. Alright, so seeing as though the cooling system flush has come to a grinding halt because I have the wrong heater tap, I'm going to carry on with the work on the bull bar. So I've got the two mounting brackets here, and I apologise for the mess. My workbench is a bit of a shit fight at the moment, but I've got the two mounting brackets here, and I've got the marks on them for where the bull bar fits up, and I need to drill new holes. So I'm just going to punch, centre punch the two new holes that I need to drill, and then I'll fire up the plasma cutter and cut out the other slots that I just need to lengthen or open up a bit. Alright, so we'll get them in the vise and use the step drill bit to drill those holes out. I'll probably take them out to 14 mil. I think I'm going to use a 12 mil bolt, but I'll take them out to 14 just so I've got a bit to play with. And then yeah, we'll fire up the plasma cutter and just notch these holes out. What I love about these step drill bits is, besides the fact that they just seem to eat everything, the next size up deburrs the hole, puts a nice chamfer on it. Beautiful. All right. Okay, so I've got the plasma cutter fired up and we are going to attempt to just cut these holes out where those marks are. See how we go. Get some gloves first. Feel like we might need more air pressure. Or we need more amps. Try 30 amps. See if it's an amperage or an air pressure issue. Maybe I should go with a step drill bit for that as well. Could be an earth issue because it's quite rusty. I'll try and clean that up, see if I can get a better earth. I definitely think it was an earth issue. That just cut much better with a clean earth, so I'll get the other one back on here and try and clean it up a bit. Because I cleaned up a spot, I don't know if you noticed, if you caught it before, cleaned up a spot like I have here, but then didn't move the earth clamp, so I was still on a rusty spot. Alright, so let's get this one back. Put the earth clamp on the clean metal that I cleaned up, and let's try and get these cut out a lot smoother. So I might flip this around See how we go. Straighten that one up a bit. They could definitely do with a cleanup with a die grinder or something similar, but I'll hit them with a grinder to get rid of the slag. All I really need is just to be able to get a bolt through it, so hopefully that's all right. Alright, now I suppose there's nothing left to do but test fit these, bolt these back onto the front of the car and fit the bull bar up and see if it lines up with the new holes. But before I do that, I want to cut these brackets off. I can't get this indicator off, I can't unbolt it, and I want to cut these mounting brackets off anyway, so I'll do that now. Look at that, come on. That other side just pulled off. Might do this one from this side if I can. Can I get in there like that? It's pretty awkward. So I'm just grinding down the welds, basically getting that nice and flat and cleaned off, so when I get it sandblasted, I've got a nice flat surface for welding any new brackets or whatever I need to weld on there for. Because I have ordered new indicators, different ones to the previous ones I ordered. I've ordered a flatter style LED indicator, so I'm not sure how they're going to fit. So if I've just got a nice clean flat surface, I can fab up some brackets as I need to. I've also ordered 2 weld-on antenna mounts. So once this comes back from sandblasting, I'll weld an antenna mount on each side. Okay, I think I'm going to leave this one there, but I've obviously just cut those brackets off, clean up the welds. When the indicators arrive, the new ones that I've ordered, they're a flat LED style and they're bigger than those ones. I'll figure out how I'm going to mount those. I might need to fab up some brackets or whatnot, so I'll do all that. I've ordered 2 weld-on antenna mounts, so when they arrive I'll weld those on. Test fit the bar. Once I've got it fitting, I know it fits well, and all my modification, welding and all that's done to it, I'll ship it off for sandblasting and powder coating. As far as the cooling system, I've put in the order for the new heater tap, the proper one this time, and I know I can buy off the shelf just generic heater hose from Super Cheap Auto, Repco, places like that. So while I'm waiting for that heater tap to arrive, I'll go and buy a heap of that heater hose, and then when the heater tap gets here I'll have everything to finish that job off. So next time you see me here at Shed to Beach, hopefully we will be finishing the bull bar and finishing the cooling system, and then it's pretty much ready to head off to a mechanic. I've got to take it to a mechanic to get an exhaust leak fixed. It's in a spot where I can't fix it, and I just need to do the auto. I need to service the auto, and then I can go and take it for registration, put it over the pits and hopefully get it registered. So a few jobs to tick off, but we're slowly getting there and get this thing on the road. I'm getting really excited to take this thing out camping and fishing. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you stuck around this long, please give the video a like. It really helps, costs you nothing, takes half a second. And if you want to see more on the 4runners and future projects, and when we finally get it out camping and fishing, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Click the notification bell so you know when the next video drops, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.